missions the players go on? How is that set up? Is it like, kind of a typical MMO open world? You go to a vendor, or not a vendor, but a quest guy. He gives you a couple quests. Go kill 10 rats.
That's a good question. There's no rat killing in Global Agenda, and no elves. Importantly, no elves in Global Agenda. But in terms of mission spaces, or really just even world spaces, there's really three types. We have city or social areas it's pretty traditional, or in common with a traditional MMO, in that I'm interacting with vendors. It's just a little R&R time for me to take a break from missions. I'm engaging in mini games, etc. So that's city spaces. Then we have mission locations, which are instanced environments where me and my team can engage in around a 15-minute mission. It could be either PvE or PvP. For PvP, we use a matchmaking system on the back end, so it's going to be a fair match. Both teams come into the match. It starts, it ends. Everyone walks away with a little bit of XP. They were a little better than they were when they started. The winning team gets a bonus, of course, and your XP is related to your contribution level towards that mission and accomplishing the mission goals, either PvE or PvP. That's mission locations. And then finally, we have the concept of unique territory in the world. And that, as I mentioned before, our agency can actually choose and conquer territory and choose how we're going to use that territory. This is really where our focus of crafting is within Global Agenda. So, at least upon initial release, rather than focus on crafting around individual items and that sort of thing, we have a lot of the system of creation and production focused on group goals, agency goals. So within our territory, we will be doing things such as deciding whether we're going to invest in defenses like turrets and actually equipping our facility with turrets, or perhaps deciding that we want to arm our agents with better stealth gear so they can go behind enemy lines and take over the facility next door. So that's where choice comes in, and those are agency territories that are an important part of the game.
Okay, so with the territories, how does that really work when you do come to the point when you want to take over the guy next door? How far does that go? How does that develop as the game goes on?
Yeah, well, that's one of the systems that we're introducing in beta because it requires a large number of people in order to test. So all this is suspect to change around what is going to work well. But
so
the basic,
be forewarned.
Exactly. But picture, if you will, a big board game like a game of Risk or old school Avalon Hill. If you're as old as I am, there were hex grids. They actually invented the term. And so you're seeing these hex maps, and you'll be able to see on that world which zones and which particular territories or hexes are controlled by different agencies and different alliances. And the short story is there's a series of decisions that an agency can make around how often their hex is open for business, if you will. And the longer that my hexes are open for business, the more it's helping me from a production standpoint or from a defensive boost standpoint, but it's also eligible to be attacked. So that's at a high level how it works, is that we have hexes, we're deciding how we're going to use those things, and other agencies, of course, are out to get them. Another pretty cool aspect of the hex system is that activity in one hex location can affect other hex locations, sometimes in real time. So an example of that within Global Agenda is a base raid. If our agency wants to take a base away from another agency, that's actually a fairly sophisticated operation. It may require up to 60 agents being coordinated. Now, our 60 agents are not all going into a single map, because we found that that's kind of a Zerg fest, and whoever shows up with the most wins, and not fun necessarily for everyone to be standing in an open map or a map where you're suddenly surrounded by 60. But for us, we divide those 60 agents into different strike teams of 8 to 12 agents each, and it'll be up to our agency how many agents we're going to have on any one team. So if we're in hex number 12 and we're taking down an enemy generator, our co-squad in another hex entirely might see the turrets go down within the map because we were successful. So it yields a lot of coordination between this large number of agencies in an operation, but at the same time, every single person is very close to the action, which is what it's all about ultimately, is having fun.
All right. We got any parting words? Any topic you want to touch on that we haven't really?
We said no elves, we said jetpacks, and we said you get to control territory. That's probably all there is. I'll thank MMORPG for showing interest in the game, and there's been good reception so far at the Game Developers Conference here in San Francisco when we're doing hands-on. We're, as I mentioned, entering closed beta towards the end of this quarter, and we're still looking at applications for that. So for folks that check out our gameplay trailer and see a little bit of this interview and it sounds interesting to them, definitely would love to see them online within Global Agenda. They can go to globalagendagame.com and sign up for the beta.
All right, great. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Keith.